All right. So for my first part of my video, I was going to mention, so for our requirements, a lot of times it says that we have to put it all as one sketch. And for a while, I was a little confused because some of them have like a lot of different, like the composition one has so many different tabs. And so I thought you had to come in and hit add page and then duplicate and do every single one singly. And I didn't know, I don't have anything else open right now to show you guys. But I could show you real quick. I never knew that, let's just open a random one, that by doing my document options and add a page, duplicate, I didn't know that you could do the whole entire, and of course this one only has one tab, but you can do the whole, it says all tabs. So I never knew that, and so now I was able to make one big, get rid of this so I don't mess that up, one big sketch with all our different activities in it, which was pretty cool for me. So for mine, I was going to talk about the factoring, which I believe is right here. I thought this was really cool just as I'm an Algebra 1 teacher and right now we're doing keystones. Um, so having to go back to factoring on top of everything else they've learned. And I just thought this would be really cool and I could use this with my kids for foiling. And moving forward and figuring out how to use this for foiling. And then once we were finishing multiplying, and then later in the chapter when we'd be factoring, moving backwards. So I thought this was kind of cool because we can use it both ways. But the other thing I used, and I thought was pretty cool, but I had some questions, was with the dynagraphs. So it was a little hard at first trying to describe different things that were going on without the numbers. Like example for this J function, I'm going to wait until it comes back down. But when they're at 0, it's doing one thing. Well, I guess I shouldn't even say 0. I assumed it was 0. It's doing one thing and then it like switches. And so here when I'm going, like I don't know this value right here when we switch and then go forward or go backwards. So that was a little confusing for me without the values, but it was nice once we had the values and could see where things were going so that I could see where the switch was or where the tick mark was coming from. That was pretty cool for me. The only thing after that point, so the explanations were a little hard. The other thing I struggled with was when, for question 5 here, we were being asked, trying to find the exact question. So for here, we were being asked, well, if I put in 1, so if I came here for t of 1, which was fine, that was easy to do, and what was t of 1, and so it was -1. For me, it was a little harder for some of the functions when we had to say, well, v is 3. So I'm trying to get to 3. Well, I can be on 3. Do this. When I'm moving this, if I get to 3, I hope it's for this one. See, I'm at 9.02, and so I had to play with it a little bit and get exactly at 9 and see it was still 3. So sometimes I wish that we could type in here what value we were looking for and have it go there, and then see the input move so we had exact values. And so we weren't kind of having a shift. The other thing was the composition. It was kind of cool. I was a little like nervous at first, and get this to go back to towards, so they're both there. I was a little nervous at first when it was the two separate functions, and let's see, when the input was still down here, I was confused of, well, how am I going to connect them? But it was pretty cool to see how the different things were going to happen and then seeing that. And I think this would be really great for the kids to see because, especially with composition, when I had taught this last year with my Algebra 2 kids, they didn't understand what we were saying. So what do you mean we're taking something and plugging it into another function? So here I think it shows the two-step process because here's our original input. I'm plugging it in, getting a value, and then I'm going to plug that in and grab our other value. And just showing how much they are affecting each other and how they work together. So I thought that was really cool, and that was a nice piece to have as well. I believe that was everything. We didn't have to do this one down here. Oh, there was one other with the dynagraph. I believe it was the first one, though. When we were, I believe it's C. So this one was a little harder for me because I was trying to think what kind of function would be doing something like this, and I guess I was thinking of like a piecewise function. And so this was a little harder for me because how do you, I mean, it looks cool and looks fun to play with, but I was a little confused on how exactly we could explain this and how especially for our students more too, because I'm pretty sure anyway I tried to explain this for you guys, my students, the ninth graders, would have a little bit more trouble understanding exactly what's going on without being able to explain to them values or the jump exactly.